Hi everyone, my name is Laura and today I'm going to be doing my presentation on The Wife of Bath. This is my 5-minute video where I explain my chosen work of literature and my interpreted meaning of it for you guys. The Wife of Bath story starts with its prologue that follows the Wife of Bath as she explains and defends her life and her marriages. She is an older lady and so far she's had 5 marriages in her life. The first one when she was 12. The first three were old and rich. Her fourth husband was better than the first three, but not by much. He cheated on her often. I feel like in her first 3 marriages, she often, like, they were old and she was young. And I feel like she talks a lot about virginity and sex in the story. Like, she wanted sex, so the first 3 husbands didn't match her sexually, but the fourth husband did. But he cheated on her, and to like get his attention, she would flirt with him and flirt with other men. Not flirt with him, but flirt with other men, like how he was. She never actually did anything with the men that she would flirt with, but she wanted to make her husband jealous because she actually liked this fourth husband, unlike the first 3. Unfortunately for her, or fortunately for her, her husband died. Her fourth husband died after she had came back from a trip. And she wanted to hurry up and move on and get rid of him. And she had a quick little funeral for him. I'm pretty sure she met her fifth husband. He carried the casket of her fourth husband, and he was different from her first 4 husbands in a way of he was not old and rich. He was young and poor, but she married him for love. I believe a lot of her love from the fifth husband came from the fact that she couldn't control him. Her fifth husband was abusive to her, though, and he would leave marks all over her body. So the first 3 were old and impotent. The fourth one, he was a cheater. And the fifth one was a wife beater. He would also read like anti-feminist rhetoric books all the time, which what wife likes that? No wife. And often him reading these anti-feminist rhetoric books would lead him to become violent towards her. And one time he hit her so hard, he made her deaf in one ear, I'm sure. And she acted like she was hurt, and then she got up and she punched him back. And but as we know from the beginning of the story, she's no longer with the fifth husband. And she's openly looking for and welcoming a sixth husband because men can marry and have as many wives as they want and stuff. Why can't women? But now to the actual story. In the story, we are in the land of Arthur, where Arthur resides as the king, and we follow a lusty bachelor who is a knight, and he rapes a girl and takes away her maidenhood, for which was wrong, and Arthur demands justice. They have the codes that they live by, and that is one of the things you don't do. That's something that you don't do. Take the honor of a young lady. That's horrible. Anyway, so he's called to court with the King Arthur, and of course Arthur wants to behead him. He wants to kill him, and his wife Guinevere steps in and stops this from happening, which I completely disagree with. Especially her being a woman, which is crazy. Like, there was a woman who was just sexually assaulted, and he's about to get his reparations for it, his consequences, and you stop him and save him. Like, if you can find out, like, no, what about the girl? She wasn't able to get saved. He should have got beheaded. That's what I believe. But to the knight Guinevere says, I grant thee life, if thou can tell me what thing is that woman most desire. Beware, and thy keep thy neck bone from the iron. So on he went for a year and a day, going around a bunch of places and asking ladies what they most desire. But it says he could not arrive in any region where he might find 2 creatures agreeing on this one matter. So as much as he was going around searching for the answer to this question that the queen asked him, he couldn't find one answer that 2 women would give the same of. Then as he was on his way back from this trip around the world to find an answer, back to the kingdom to get beheaded, he comes across these ladies dancing in the woods, and he approaches them. He's like, oh, I could add some more ladies that I can ask. As he approaches, they run away. They leave, except for one. It's this old lady, old hag, very not handsome, and he asks her if she knows the answer to the question, and she says that she will tell him in exchange for if he agrees to a pact or something. And she tells him. And so off he goes to the castle and he tells Queen Guinevere the answer that he's come up with. He says to the queen, "My liege, without exception, women desire to have sovereignty as well over her husband as her love, and to be in mastery of him. To have some voice, to have some sort of control, because back in the day, that is something that those women did not have. They were treated like overgrown children, and it was not very nice or acceptable." This is the answer the queen was looking for. The knight gets to keep his head, unrightfully. So if you ask me, the knight gets to keep his head, but now he has to follow through with his promise with the old lady. And she wants to get married. And so, being a knight of his word, but being a knight who rapes women, he marries the lady. He is so sad about it. The day after they're married, he's just all tossing and turning. And she's like, "What's the problem?" And he says it's because she's from a not highborn family, or, she's poor and she's ugly and all that stuff. She goes on a ramble like, "Oh, but Jesus was poor and I find da 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 da." Basically, she asks him, "Do you want a beautiful wife or do you want an ugly wife? You choose." He thinks about it for a second. And then he does what the lady said, the old lady had told him that's what women want most. He says, "My lady and my love and wife so dear, I put me in your wise government. Choose yourself which may be most pleasure and most honor to you and me also. I do not care which of the two, for as it pleases you, it is enough for me." So she asked him, "Do you want a beautiful wife or do you want an old wife?" And he says, "I'll let you choose. I'll let you choose whichever one brings us the most honor. We're married now, so you get to choose." And because he let her choose, she becomes and turns into this beautiful young lady. He kisses her and smothers her with kisses. And thus they lived out their lives in perfect joy until the end. Everyone, this is Levi. But I think I'm sorry. I think the meaning is pretty clear. I think it represents and talks a lot about feminism back then, when that wasn't a topic that was on anybody's list. And it talks about how women should have power and control, seeing as that was also something that women should not have back then. I think that was something that she was saying in the prologue as well, just explaining her life and how she got the choice to choose the farthest she got on in her life after her first 3 husbands died. And she looked for a 6th husband, But thank you guys so much for watching my video.